Hey, surprise! I am back, but this time with something super special in store. I hope that I am not choppy. I pray that I am not choppy and that I am coming through clearly. Okay, I think so. I think I'm good to go. So, as you can see, listen, today is going to be all about preparing to quit, right? And I'm dubbing this the Freedom Series Part One because this is a multi series um, of live streams that I'm going to be doing, sharing with you a number of things to free yourself from as you are preparing to take the ultimate act of freedom and quitting your 9 to 5 to leap into full-time entrepreneurship with confidence, right? And without regret. And so, who am I to be able to help you with that and to talk about this? I'm glad you asked. If this is your first time hearing me, seeing me, I'm glad that our paths crossed. I'm delighted that you are here. If you are a veteran and you know all about me, I'm glad that you are back. Thank you for rocking and rolling with me. But for those who are new, I'm Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help entrepreneurs that are still gainfully employed to free themselves from their 9 to 5 using a little bit of what they love and a whole lot of what they know. Listen, that is where the magic happens. I know what it's like to have that desire. I know what it's like to daydream about like that day where you no longer have to clock in and deal with like the politics of things, the monotony of all sorts. I get it. I get you. I am you. Right. But I can talk about me more in detail another time. And there's lots of information and content I have out here about my own personal story. But my concern today is you, right? So if you are here with me live, do me a favor in the chat, do me a favor and say, hey, D. If you happen to be catching this on the replay, I'm still glad that you're here. But let me know that you came back and watched the replay and type replay in the comments. Okay. And I'll come back through and show you some love. So wherever you may be watching this, you definitely want to turn your notifications on as well so that you don't miss the subsequent parts of this particular series because I'm going in and I'm sharing things to free yourself from as you prepare to quit. Okay. Um, Before I share today's thing to free yourself from, I want to make an invitation. So, I am hosting at the top of the year Momentum 2023. And it's for that entrepreneur that knows that 2023 is the year that you will be kissing your 9 to 5 goodbye, like unapologetically, without regret, and with all the confidence, right? And if that is you, listen, you don't want to start 2023 anywhere else but in the space, the virtual space that I've created for Momentum 2023. Why? Because I got some things in store for you, okay? There is more information available at the link that's in the caption of the video or the description wherever you're watching this video. Click that, learn more about it, and you can lock in there, okay? But for while we're here today, right? Freedom, 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 freedom. Ultimately, the people that I'm here to serve in this capacity, right, as a life and leadership coach for entrepreneurs, that's absolutely what you want. You ultimately want freedom, right? There is something yearning on the inside of you. There's something nagging and gnawing at you, and you know that you know that you know, whether you articulate it and share it elsewhere or not, that there is something greater that you are called to do. And quite frankly, I am here to tell you, I'm here to poke the bear even more, right? And underscore the point that the reason why you are uncomfortable, why you're so annoyed, like and overwhelmed, and probably in some instances underwhelmed in the space that you are now is likely because your purpose assignment in that space has been complete. You've checked the box probably a long time ago, but and you've settled in the comfort of that you've created for your space and knowing like the ins and outs and how to maneuver, how to navigate, how to manage the politics of it all. And now you've gotten to a point where it's just like, listen, enough is enough. I cannot do this anymore. I have no desire to do this anymore. Like this, there's got to be more to life for me. And you may be in one of two categories. You may already have a side hustle that you're working and you see the potential in devoting the time and energy into that full time that you have been devoting to your 9 to 5, and you question, like, well, what if I worked as hard for myself at this thing, right, as I do for this organization or this institution? Like, what might be possible, right? But there's this thing, maybe a couple of things that are keeping you from like really leaning into that and taking a serious look at it, because they're they're swaying you back to where it's safe, right? So you could be that person, or you could be an aspiring entrepreneur. You feel called to entrepreneurship, you may not know where to start, but you know that there's something about you, right? And you know that you're not meant you're no longer meant to um clock in, right? You're no longer meant to work for somebody else in the gainfully employed 9 to 5 capacity. You may still work for somebody else, as a contractor, independent contractor, or whatever is waiting for you on the other side of the 9 to 5 in entrepreneurship, right? But you know that you will not be retiring from anybody's organization, right? So you might be in either one of those categories. Matter of fact, if you are either in category one that I described, like the entrepreneur, the dualpreneur that's gainfully employed and working a side hustle, building a business on the side, type of one in the comments for me. Hopefully I can see them. If you are number two, the aspiring entrepreneur that is feeling the tug, you know that there's something there, you don't know where to start, so you haven't started, and for whatever reasons you haven't started, but like you have been bitten by the entrepreneur bug. Put a two in the comments for me. I just want to take a quick survey just to see. I'll come back and look at the chat a little bit later, right? So if that is you, this is for you. Like, if you're not an entrepreneur and you don't have any desire to take the leap at any point in life, doesn't have to be tomorrow, doesn't have to be next month, it doesn't have to be next year. But if that's not you, then this video is likely not for you. This series isn't for you. So I'm just letting you know so that you could spend your time wisely. I would love for you to stay on and watch. That's great. But I believe in just full transparency. Like, this is who this is for. It's my entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5 and have a desire to one day, and preferably sooner than later, chuck the deuces, take the leap, bet on you, right? And figure this thing out. Come hell or high water. This is for you. So the first thing, so part one, right? The first thing that you want to free yourself from as you are preparing to take the ultimate act of freedom, which is quitting, right? The first thing is other people's opinions. And that may sound super simple, but when you're preparing to do something like what you're considering doing, what you've been daydreaming about doing, what you may have been talking in select circles about doing, other people's opinions become heavy, right? They can weigh a ton. And that ton, right, can be what makes or breaks you betting on you following your intuition, you trusting your gut, and you doing what's necessary to free you, right, from the cray, whatever cray looks like on any given day at your place of employment, right? And for you, it could be you might not even hate your job, but you're just not you're not fulfilled anymore, right? It could be it's a number of things. Like, we show up in this space, and we find each other for different reasons, right? But at the end of the day, we're called to do something similar, and that's to lead from a different vantage point as entrepreneurs, right? So the weight of other people's opinions, and it's a fine line, right? And so when I say other people's opinions, I want to emphasize, and I'm speaking about the people who are not on your personal board of directors, right? So I want to start there. And so I caution you to take account of who you are sharing what it is that you are preparing to do with, right? Until you are confident and unswayable and unmovable, be careful who you share what you're planning to do with. There are some very well meaning people who, when they find out that you what you have planned, what you're looking to do, right? They will do it. It's knee jerk, right? A lot of them mean well, but they speak from their own fears. They speak from their own lack of the vision that you have, right? It's your vision. It's your gut that's talking, not theirs. So they're only speaking from their vantage point. And if you're not careful with what you share and how you share it and when you share it, it can be enough to paralyze you, right? And keep you stuck in the same place that's been not serving you. And so you'll do all this work to hype yourself up, and then you get to sharing, what you're thinking about doing, and then you get this resistance. For some people it's subtle, for some people it's harsh, right? But it's enough to kind of snap you out of, the trance, as they may say, and have you figuring out how you can band-aid um, something that requires like surgery, right? How you can band-aid something that is a lot bigger than just a little scrape or a little bruise. So caution yourself with who you share what it is that you're planning to do, right? With. Um, and then when it comes to your personal board of directors, these are your trusted advisors, right? These are your go-tos. These are people that you trust with your firstborn, you trust with your life, right? And I'm cautioning you here as well. There will be people on your personal board of directors who will do their job as a member of your personal board of directors and tell you the truth from their vantage point. But there's a difference between somebody on your personal board of directors sharing maybe a dissenting opinion, maybe not being on board with it right away at first, right? It's a difference between it coming from them and somebody who you're just sharing it in over coffee, right? Coffee chat, if you will, a water cooler chat, I guess is what we call it in the corporate space, right? But I want you to understand that when there's somebody on your personal board of directors that weighs in on what it is that you're thinking about doing, just because they try to talk you out of it, doesn't mean that you shouldn't still do it. How you view their perspective is, yes, it weighs in, right? But it lets you know, it keeps you grounded. It adds balance into your perspective of what it is that you're getting ready to do, right? And it gives you it can ground you, right? So like, okay, so they're not really feeling this. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it, right? I respect what they got to say, but I've already planted the seed for them that I'm thinking about doing this thing, and they know what's up. I speak from experience with that, right? And what I also speak from experience with is speaking to my personal board of directors, in some instances asking for their opinion because I care and their opinion matters to me. But how I leverage the opinions of my personal board of directors is not to be the deciding factor in what I do. It's to allow me to make the most informed decision based on them sharing their perspectives. So I know I'm not making a decision in a silo. I know that if I make a decision and I'm taking a calculated risk, I know that, okay, yeah, okay, I heard what they had to say. Yep, I'm still willing to do it anyway. Yep, I'm still, okay, I covered this space. They helped me think about this. Okay, yep, I factored that into play. Okay, bet I got what I need to make the decision that I need to make, right? And so there is this delicate line to balance for your sanity, right? And for your breakthrough, to make sure that you are not succumbing to other people's opinions, right? So the first thing to round it out, to free yourself from in this multi-part series, I haven't figured out how far I'm going to go, is to free yourself from other people's opinions and be okay making a decision, right? Because ultimately a decision is required. A commitment to your decision is required. Follow through on your decision is required, right? And having confidence in your decision is required. And having confidence in it doesn't mean that you're going to know steps 1 through 100. right away. It just means that you have taken a calculated approach, right? You've taken calculated risk to do something different, to create a different life for yourself, right? Leveraging what you love, right? And a lot of what you know as far as your expertise is concerned, and packaging it in a way that allows you to either maintain the lifestyle that you've afforded yourself now or super exceed it. Moving from having a cap on your income to team no cap, operating in your zone of genius as opposed to your zone of excellence. And maybe you may be operating in your zone of genius, right? But there are limitations because you're playing in somebody else's playground. You're playing in somebody else's sandbox. So there's freedom that you need. And this is why you're here with me on this journey with this series, right? So that's part one. That's number one. The first thing to free yourself from is other people's opinions. So again, listen, if you are planning to take the leap in 2023 or soon after, you don't want to start the new year anywhere but at Momentum 2023 with me. Why? We're going to be creating your custom exit strategy and mapping out what it is that you need to do in 2023. We're actually going to be putting some motion behind that, like not just creating it for you to go post it on the wall, save it on a drive. Like, no, no, we're doing it. We're doing the work, right? And I'm here to support you with it. And because I am um so before I say that, it's another thing that you're going to walk away with is clarity on your next steps. A lot of times, my fellow go-getters and high achievers stay in places and spaces that we've outgrown, that are no longer serving us, well beyond our expiration date, well beyond the expiration date of that situation or circumstance, because we don't know what's on the other side of letting go. We don't know what's waiting for us, right? We allow fear to keep us stuck. We allow all of these things, right, to prolong the inevitable. And for you, and this is absolutely not for everybody, but there are go-getters that are gainfully employed in this season, that are showing up every day in organizations and workspaces, and you know that you will not be retiring from there. Like, it's inevitable that you're going to do this. You just don't know when, right? And so a part of what I'll be supporting you with at Momentum 2023 on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023, first week of the year, is getting clear on your next steps. When you get clarity on your next step, the game is over. But when it's foggy and you're not sure and you're uncertain, haven't really weighed your risk, you're factoring in other people's opinions amongst some other things that you got to free yourself from, that is more to come in this series as we prepare and lead up to Momentum 2023. The clarity. When you're clear, it's game over, right? And that's how you will walk away from Momentum 2023. So I want you to be there with me, right? And my goal is to support 10 entrepreneurs that are gainfully employed as of 2022 with creating their exit strategy and actually taking the leap in 2023. Scared and all, right? But without regret. Doing it is, you're not going to do it without fear, right? Unless you know you have some type of support system and you're good regardless. Hey, great, then let's do this. Let's get the party started, right? But my goal is to help 10 entrepreneurs that are gainfully employed as of December 2022 to take the leap without regret, to quit without regret in 2023, if not soon after, right? And how are you going to do that? We're going to map all of that out in Momentum 2023 on Wednesday, January 4th. And so I would love to have you there. I would love to see you there. And I've also, because I celebrated as of the time of recording of this video yesterday, 12/12 was the 3-year anniversary of me launching this brand, Danielle the Coach, right? And my goal is to, in 3 years for you, to be having a similar type of celebration, right? I did the thing, right? And why this is significant for me is because this brand, Danielle the Coach, is why I quit my job. I was making six figures working for the government. And I figured out how I could leverage what I love with what I know to serve other people and make an impact and still afford myself a lifestyle, right, that I'm comfortable with. Um, and so I want that for you too. And whatever that looks like for you, I want that for you too. But because I just celebrated that anniversary on 12, 12, 12, 12 is significant for me. And so what I'm making available to you, Momentum 2023, on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023, that in addition to, I've added on bi-weekly accountability calls over the course of 12 weeks. 12 is my number, to support you with keeping you on track and focused on implementing and executing what it is that you decide on, right? What you come up with on what you commit to on January 4th. Hey, listen, I'm not in the business of just talking about it. Like, I believe in putting muscle behind what it is that we want. That's how I freed myself from my 9 to 5. I did the work, and I did a lot of what I'm sharing and what I will be sharing and walking and ushering you through on January 4th. I did a lot of that by myself. I didn't have support with it right away, right? Um, but I did it, right? And so I know what it will be like to have support and having someone hold your hand, lightly hold your hand, because you're a go-getter, you're a high achiever, you'll do the thing. You just need clarity, right? But holding you accountable to what it is that you need. And that's what momentum is all about. Like, listen, with the plan, with the strategy, with support, and with accountability, and most of all with clarity, you're dangerous. And that is where I want you to get on this journey to doing what's inevitable anyway. Why wait? The link is in the description or the caption of wherever you're watching this. And I will also put it here on the screen really quick. But head there. And let me share the investment. So it's 1212, $1,212, right? Again, it's a play on 1212, which is significant for me. This is valued at $3,500. And I am providing you the intensive on Wednesday, January 4th, plus biweekly accountability calls over 12 weeks, covering Q1, right? For you to end Q1 with flying colors, to do in 90 days or less what you haven't been able to do in the last year, the last couple of years, the last couple of months on your own. Okay. Here's why you want to lock in as soon as possible, because the price is going to go up. One, there's only space available for 12 of my entrepreneurs that are still gainfully employed that are looking to bust out that joint, right? There's only 12 spaces available. So whichever comes first, all 12 spaces being gone, or when it gets up to the value at $3,500. Now, I'm not going to announce when the price is going up. The price is just going to go up, and the price is going to be the price. So if you want to lock in and you want to join me and you want to get in where I'm starting it at 1212, do it now. The link is in the description. It's also scrolling across your screen right now. Do it now, right? This is what it's going to take in order for you to have the breakthrough that you have been desiring, that you have been daydreaming about, that you have been praying about. Do it now, right? There's no more procrastinating. And this is how I get down. So if you can dig it, then you definitely know you want to be in the place, because there's some work to do. And I am relentless about hitting my goal and helping my fellow entrepreneurs, break free yourself to do what it is that your heart desires, but do it in a way that's calculated, that's informed, and that sets you up for success. And who knows, in 3 years, you may be singing a very different song, and that's what I want for you. So tap the link in the caption or description wherever you may be watching this. If this resonated with you, do me a favor and let me know. If something in particular that I shared resonated with you, let me know. And make sure you turn those notifications on. And I'll be back tomorrow with part 2 in preparing to quit the Freedom series. I'll see you then.